I have my little script here. I'm on a moving trainer. Hello, friends, and welcome to our roundtable discussion. Today's theme is one that's close to my heart: breaking the mold and redefining what work looks like. So I'm Suzette, I'm a single mom, and thanks to this business, I was able to retire early, something I actually never thought was possible. Nine to five life, right? For me, breaking the mold wasn't just about changing jobs, it was about creating a future where I could be present for my family and still provide. So I'm here today with, well, we should be four, but for now I'm here with two incredible women, Vanessa and Anna. Maybe later on we might have Anselma with us. So I will let you ladies introduce yourself. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Okay, yes. So I'm Vanessa. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a widow. I'm a mom of three. And for many years, I believe that the only way to provide for myself and now for my family was through a traditional job. I still work a traditional job today, but I started the business alongside it because I wanted something more flexible, more time for my loved ones, and more control over my future. So this business has shown me that work can look different and still be meaningful. So
Amazing. And I am Anna. So I am so excited to join, of course. I mean, I know you guys have your series going on. So I'm so glad I could hop on because it's a special one today, of course, right? I don't know if Suzanne mentioned, but her did that little surprise, of course, for you. I mean, we got the yellow. I see and some you got a gold leaf in your background. So we're gonna rock with that, right? Because I see the blue, the green, the yellow. I'm gonna say with the gold because it might be right. Guess the flag. Anyway, not to digress, of course. I'm Anna, and I've been in banking education field before. I'm from St. Vincent, and I had some plans for myself, and I knew that different doesn't always have to be scary, right? And I had a few different things I needed to get to, but we'll get to that later. So I'll go ahead and let Anselm introduce herself, of course.
All right, welcome, Anselma. Go
welcome.
ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Anselmo. I'm also from St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yay.
Um, my background is in financing and logistics and supply chain, and I started this business because I needed something different. I needed a change.
Awesome, awesome. So, Anna, you kind of blew it out of the water because I was saving the big surprise about all of us being from St. Vincent and the Grenadines for after. But you just had to say something. But that's good. So,
I didn't say anything. I said
we're
yes, the
sporting,
flag, right? So
I know, we are sporting
technically,
our
I
blue,
said yes,
our
the
green,
flag.
and our gold, and that is why. So I want this to actually be a sign for all the Vincies that are watching us, so that they know that there are Vincentians in this digital business too, and they can definitely get on board, right? So every week we do these lives, and we always have a gratitude segment. So I'm gonna hop into that, and we're all just gonna share something that we're grateful for. So I'm gonna go first. So I'm truly thankful for the chance this business gave me to retire early and to still be there for my kids. Actually, right now I'm on a move-in train, guys. We just took an impromptu trip to Niagara Falls because the weather was so beautiful, and it's nice, right? It's nice to be able to just pick up and do that. So I'm grateful that I can now spend more time with them and still contribute to our future. What about you, Vanessa?
Yes, I am grateful for the balance this business brings. I still work a 9 to 5 job. I'm an audit assistant, And knowing I'm building something else on the side that aligns with my beliefs and my family's needs, brings so much peace of mind.
Amazing. And I mean, rolling the gratitude train all the way. So that's on the train. Gotta had to put that in there. I am incredibly grateful for the flexibility because coming from an area where I used to do several roles in different cities all in one day, and having to schedule your life around around work, right? Right. That's just the reality of it. And somebody's probably listening and thinking, well, that's just how it is. But what if it doesn't have to be, right? And for me, I'm grateful for that because I used to also work sometimes Sundays as well. 7 days a week, sometimes I used to work. And I saw somebody post a chocolate muffin, somebody here. And I said, well, I want some dessert, right? So here I am randomly just doing something put together homemade. I'm cooking and I'm a strong foodie. One thing when you get to know me, I'm such a foodie. So having the time to get back into the groove with that, you might also be hearing my child. I am a mom. A mom of a young one. So it's nice to have that time with them, and it's important to do so. Having older parents as well, incredible. I mean, to some, that might not be something they want to be grateful for, but to me, it's the world.
All right. What about you, Anselmo? What are you grateful for?
Me, I'm grateful for my family, for my children, to be there for them every morning. And just to, like, because you know what, life is short. So I'm grateful that the time I get to spend with them, especially now because they're teenagers. Pretty soon they're going to be out of the house and be all grown up. So what I'm grateful for most is my family.
Oh, wow. So, guys, before we move forward, I want to apologize to our viewers because every week, they're used to seeing Irma here. And Irma had to take a trip, so she's not with us today. But she's with us in spirit, of course, and she sent her love to all the viewers. So let us know as usual in the comments where you're watching us from. We like to know how global we are because this is a global business. So if you're tuning in, or even if you catch the replay, comment and let us know exactly where you're tuning in from. So we're gonna hop into the discussion, right? Um, so I'm gonna talk a bit about challenging the old definition of success. You know, I actually grew up believing that success meant working hard at one steady job and then hopefully retiring with enough to live comfortably, right? We grew up in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we know, like, we are hard workers, right? Most people in St. Vincent, they get into a job and they stick to it. They find a career, they stick to it. And, we have people who would retire from a company after working 50 years there, right? So you stick to it, and it's just the traditional way of earning. And we were taught to go to school, get educated, and get that job. But what we are now doing here in the online space is completely different to that. And for me, as a single mom, I worked in the banking industry for over 26 years. I was a financial advisor when I started this online business. But being a single mom, that income just was not enough. And then I'm living in Toronto, and Toronto is a large city and it's so expensive. And for me, having my three kids with that one income, it just was not working. And I kept getting deeper and deeper into debt. And so that is why I actually started to look for something different. And the internet is there, the internet is young, and we hear so much about the internet. And now it's one of the main places that are actually creating millionaires all over the world, right? So when I got the opportunity to hop online and work and start a business, I actually took it because Working online is actually the way forward, right? And it's a good thing I actually took that opportunity because that actually allowed me to retire early. I used to dream about retiring early. I had an experience, I've talked about it before, where, in the banking industry, there was this guy, he was an accountant actually, and he retired and they asked him to come back to assist, right? And before he can even finish the 1 year term that they asked for, he passed. He never got to enjoy the fruits of his labor. And I've always said, I need to be able to retire at a young age where I can actually still enjoy my life, where I still have the strength and the energy, where I'm not going to fall asleep on the cruise. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go on vacation and then I just sleep in the hotel room. Come on. I need to have some energy. So, I always said that I wanted to do that, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. And even, I have to say, even when I started my business 5 years ago, retiring was not on the radar. Actually, I started and I was saying, I just want to earn an extra $500 a month, right? That's all I want, just to help me pay the bills. And then, less than 2 years after that, the income totally replaced the income from my job. And I was like, why am I stressing myself out in the bank? Let's quit corporate and move on, right? So, sometimes the things that we are fearful of, just because we it's not familiar, we're a bit skeptical, we're scared of it, that can actually be the thing that can change your life, right? And that is what really happened for me. I jumped in all 4 feet. I jumped, and here I am today. So, it's definitely proof that, the definition of success has evolved from what we grew up knowing, to what it is now.
Yes. Okay, you can
Mhm.
go ahead, Anna. You can go.
Yeah, anybody could hop in.
No, I was just saying that, when I became a widow, of course, it was unexpected because everything happened so quickly. So if
Hmm.
you're not ready, you just, depending on the person, they could just fall in a slump and just, everything just die. So that's why it's so important to have a plan B. And we just can't sit back and wait on the 9 to 5 because sometimes you're not even getting promoted because, like Suzette said, there's people in the institution that's there for 50 years. So you can't get promotion. And if you do move, it's just a lateral move. It's not, you're not going up anywhere.
Hmm.
So I started this business because I know I cannot just depend on just one salary.
I think we lost your song, Vanessa. Well, I'm not hearing you. Are you ladies hearing Vanessa? Okay. Yeah, I think we just lost your song, Vanessa.
But we did hear the end. But yes, 100%. I mean, I feel like I grew up, even though everyone's success is different, and to each their own. Growing up, yes, you're talking about persons being there for X amount of years. But the thing is, growing up, it was like, how loyal can you be to your company, right? Make sure you keep your head down and keep going. And that's what, you know, generations before us usually let us know, don't be quick to switch companies, don't to do this. And I mean, of course, now this generation is doing differently, but you were told, like, stick in it, stay as long as you can, no matter how tiring it gets, no matter how it feels, no matter how much time it takes away from whatever life throws at you. I mean, I specifically remember in, of course, a different season of life. And, some companies allow that day or not, depending on who that person is to you, which can you imagine, right? Imagine your supervisor, your boss, your company has to tell you how much this person means to you if they are following in that chart of your family chart, right? Are they your spouse? Are they, your parents? And that's kind of their hubbub, right? Their hubbub, their importance for them. And you have to wait for a company to tell you that if you are experiencing a loss. Well, I don't think you can take that time off. What about if it's for me to plan a funeral? How about to attend it, right? For
Yeah.
some, I've met persons I've encountered, and you might not even get the chance. attend it, right? And even if it's not on a somber note, it might be a celebratory event. You might not get that chance to go. Or on the up chance that you might, how much time did you have to work through your lunch? Did you have to work overtime to kind of get back that hours? And I'm not talking about hours where persons, I suppose, abuse it. I'm talking about just, once in a while, you're like, I can't do it. Can I have some time off? So it's one thing, of course, what that success looks like and what that is for our life and what it is that you are aspiring to be. I mean, regardless if you choose to have a family or if you want to take care of your aging parents or it's the extra income, the reality check, right? Of what if that happens? I need a backup plan, right? Always need to have extra coming in. But of course, what do you think, Anselma? Or if you have anything to chime in on that?
Of course, it's necessary to have a backup plan. And it's funny you talk about time off because it's a story like surreal to me. Like because when I ask for some time, they'll let you know that okay, well, you didn't give enough time to get some time off. Well, it's an emergency. You don't know what happened in an emergency. We don't always know the unexpected when it comes up, right? So I can't let you know beforehand if it's something that's so it's like the way that the workforce is these days is like it's easy. It's kind of I don't know. For me personally, work get someone to dictate your time, like when you take lunch, how much time you get off, or what you like. Even if your kids have appointment, like who's gonna you? There's no one but you, but they dictate what you should do when you should do it. So
Mhm.
on the online space, we don't have any of that.
Yes, we're our own bosses.
Exactly.
Yes. So, sometimes I just want to go to the next point where the digital business, sometimes, they're wondering, oh, is it a scam? Just because, it's online, they're seeing this information online. But today it's the modern world, right? This is everything is online right now. Even when they like sometimes what I think is that they would see, let's say clothing, for instance, and they want to order it. It's not necessarily from the known places, that the popular ones, I should say. But they would still take a chance and they would go and they would order. And sometimes they get their stuff and sometimes they don't get their stuff. But at least they tried. They they went on, they ordered. It's the same thing. Just try. You still have a chance to do your due diligence, anyways, because we give 30 days for you to do that. And we just want to say it's the online is not a scam. This business was built just the same way as a traditional business. Like we all have to put in the time, the investment, the consistency, just as a traditional business. So I've been doing this business alongside my 9 to 5, and I'm learning a lot. I'm happy really that I started because always I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and this business gave me the opportunity to do just that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, scams are everywhere, right? Not just online. And I think the onus is really on the individuals to do their due diligence. And I'm so proud of the system that we have where we actually give like a 30-day period for people to do their own research and make their decision. And a lot of times people just need to think a little bit because scammers they hide. Like we're here online, we're here with our faces, you're hearing our kids in the background. You can come to up, you can see who we are. So chances are, hey, these are real people. I always love to say, when I was growing up, my mom used to say 10,000 Frenchmen can't be wrong. We have a community that we invite people into where they could see thousands and thousands of people from all over the world talking about the business, giving their testimonials about the business. So, you know, at some point you have to say, hey, this is working for people. This is not a scam. And the caliber of people that we have as well, right? We have lawyers, we have doctors, we have engineers. We have people who didn't graduate high school, right? But we also have people who has like doctorates and who are actually medical doctors as well. So, you know, there's a lot of people who are doing this business successfully to earn additional income and to really build, a legacy that they can pass on. Because let's face it, we can't pass our jobs on to our kids, right? We can pass our business on, and and so it's only smart for people to look for a way to earn online. Maybe you can't be a TikTok creator and dance and do all those kind of things, right? And we're serving you now with an alternative where you can still do something online that brings income to you. So, yes, there are scams online, but not everything is a scam. Do your due diligence, and we're here. Reach out to us, ask us questions, right, ladies?
And
Yes, and absolutely. And to your point as well, both of you, I mean, you touched on, of course, Vanessa, in regards to having, when people are like, well, what is this, or what you're doing? And then Suzette, of course, mentioning it on. But three main points. I mean, people ask, is this real? What are you doing? Is this real? And it's, I think, because the misconception is, well, I see you on social media, you must be an influencer. And no, you don't have to be, right? And I feel that people can get overwhelmed in that case and then immediately think then that might not be real. How will that work? And the first thing we're doing, we're doing our usual amount of time. You said you put in the consistency, the same setup, except, what can I do with 1 to 2 hours, 1 to 3 hours a day, instead of that time scrolling or having that movie time or whatever it is that might turn your leisure time into really stretching it out to just, you could have been doing something else productive, right? What could you be doing at that time? I mean, I've met persons on either spectrum where it's, they have to plan their day minute by minute because they just have no time. And then you have persons who are like, I actually have some time in between. This can be doable for me. But the good news is both ends can work. So yes, of course I show up. Doesn't mean that I have to. I mean, right now, Suzette has mentioned she's on coming from a trip, a spontaneous trip right now. And it's that flexibility. It means that we pop in during that time. I mean, right now we are not on a global. We all are in Canada and specifically Quebec and Ontario, same timeline. But usually it is around the world. So I mean, is this real? Is usually a common question, and can I do this? And now being said that we are in Canada as well, it's talking about the taxes. I mean, it's not something to hide. I feel like persons are like, well, would you? We don't hide from it because guess what? We do. Just like everyone else, we have to go ahead and have our taxes with it. We do get that, right? So it's not the down low I would have to put in there. And I get it. Some people have experienced or maybe know of someone who have experienced things on or offline. And that's okay. As you mentioned, Suzette, it's that taking that time for yourself. One, not making an assumption, which is I always say, don't make an assumption. Ask your questions or do your due diligence yourself. Check it out as well. But yes, is it real, right? And I feel like that's okay. It's a question to ask. But we're live, so you're definitely getting the full everything. Suzette got passengers passing behind her, so yeah, you can pinch us. Yeah.
Of
All
course, and
right. So
everyone
we get
touching it.
and Selma, you have anything to add to that before we move on?
Yeah, like everyone touching scam. Like we could say the work you're doing is a scam.
Hmm.
And put in the same work for yourself. Yeah, online, yeah, online said. You still go online and order something, but you don't know if it's real, but you still put your credit
Exactly.
card in it and order it, and sometimes you don't get it. So, of course, what is really a scam?
Yeah, everyone just needs to do their due diligence and check things out thoroughly, right? Don't It's not about making like a quick decision or a brash decision, right? It's just you know taking your time and figuring out whether this is something that you want to do. And, like I said before, we have a free information session. We have our VIP groups that we can invite you into so you can check it out further. We have our 30-day refund package where you get to deep dive into the business for 30 days and get a full refund if you decide it's not for you. So we have all these things that we provide to really help guide your decisions so that you know what you're getting into before you actually get into it. So yeah, so I think in our community, this one is something that we get, right? Because I spoke earlier about the fact that, the way we grew up, the traditional ways, go to school, get your education, get your job, have that boss breathing down your neck every day telling you what you can do and when you can go on vacation and whether you could, go to your kids' sporting events, right? All of that stuff. We love those things. No, not me. I don't love it. So let's talk about fear of judgment and failure, because I think this is a big one that, a lot of people feel like they don't want to be judged, they don't want their neighbor to see them. They don't want their cousin to see them. They don't want their sister to question them, whatever it is, you know. And then, of course, what if I start it and I'm not successful is another one that pops up. So let's jump into that. So, Anna, I'll give you the flow on that one. Yes, you.
Oh, we switching things up. It's okay. But yes, I appreciate, and hello everyone tuning in. Listen. I gotta say, persons do experience that, but for me, I did not have that mindset for that. I gotta tell you, I did not have that mindset. Maybe growing up, of course, as far as maybe teenage years, I had those moments where, you question like what will persons think, but I feel like that's it. But after that time, I gotta tell you, I built my mindset for that. But I have encountered and I've met persons who it's just healthy, right? It's a normal reaction to think what will persons think. And I feel like it goes hand in hand with um thinking about who you surround yourself with, right? No matter how well meaning they are, they don't always understand your vision, right? They don't always understand something that you may be a part of unless they see for themselves, right? And it's important to know who you surround yourself with. No, I didn't tell anybody to stop their nanny and everything like that. Disclaimer, I'm not saying that, but I am saying that putting the thoughts and putting the worries of what someone else will think, that can hold you back. That can hold you back. I'm not saying there are instances that it may be correct, but it's something if you make an assumption, you never look for yourself to see. Because again, you might be able to see and say to yourself, you know what? I had no idea that I didn't have to do 12, 14-hour days. And I didn't know that I had to give up my time with my family. I didn't know that I didn't couldn't be able to help my parent. I didn't know that I could have done things different. And the thing is when you know, you do things different, right? That's exactly, at least growing up. The saying is a bit similar, but it's essential, right? When you know better, you do better. So if you're putting your dreams, your hopes, because that's what you're putting, you're carrying the full weight. You're taking the full weight and putting it on them and saying, you know what, you're in charge of it. But guess what? It's you day in and day out in your life. You're the one who has to be in the driver's seat. You're the one who has to be going around and living it. Is that the current situation you want to remain in, right? That's what you have to ask yourself. Is one's opinions and perceptions, is it more important than me getting to where I need to be? I mean, if you are a person who look at motivation or even just learning about sometimes personality, persons who you're aware of right now, sometimes there's humble beginnings. And sometimes you hear it time and time again. I don't know. I didn't know where I would end up. And yes, person said stop, or person said they laugh, they talk. But you know what? Your dream was bigger, or the goal that you have in mind, it can around the persons who can't see it. How do you if you have the window seat, how do you ask the person all the way in the front to see the same thing that you're seeing? They cannot see it. I mean, you have to clear it out and see for yourself. You know what? this is my goal and this is what I want to see. So I believe that putting the placement of your goals and taking the onus of that, and likewise, the goal set is right back on you. So yeah, it is on your shoulders. So whether you decide to do something about your situation or not, um, it's gonna be a you problem, right? Basically, so it goes both ways. Yeah.
Are you saying something, Vanessa? If you are, you're muted. I don't know. I
Oh
saw your
no,
lips move.
I just saw the people walking behind you. That's why.
Oh yeah, I am on a moving train. We are stopping at the station, picking up people. We are dropping off people. So even though I have this the background on, you might see some people from time to
Yeah.
time.
Well, I would
You
let.
know, to go back on topic, right? Fear of judgment and failure. Um, I'm gonna talk about failure. I don't think there's a successful person out there that hasn't failed. And there's this thing that we say in our community, right? Learn to fail your way to success. I tried so many different businesses and failed at them before I came across this one. What if I had stopped, right? So sometimes people, they don't go after what they want because they're afraid that they're gonna fail. But the truth of the matter is that as long as you don't take action, you don't do anything about it, you guarantee your failure.
Mhm.
The only way to not guarantee failure is to actually try, is to actually check things out, is to actually go after what you want. um, so that's what I have to say about that. Anything else? Who haven't we heard from yet?
Did you want to add, Anselmo? I
First, yeah. I mean, we all have fears. Who wouldn't? And like Susan said, there's not a successful person that doesn't experience failure somewhere along. Like in order for you to be successful, you have to fail. But do you stay a failure or you get back up? Like when you fall, you don't stay down, you get back up and try again. As simple as it is.
All right, that's right. Vanessa, anything to add to this one before we move
yes,
on?
I wanted to talk about judgment because when I started the business, I was so shy. I didn't want to do any live. I didn't want to put out no video. I didn't want to say anything. I barely wanted to post because I'm, just fearful of what other people might think. Even I'm thinking, oh, maybe, my work colleagues might see and all that. But then after I have to like make a shift, I'm like, wait a minute. I started this business for a reason. I have my whys because of my kids. I want extra income and whatever it is. So I can't be thinking about other people. I have to think about me. So I really had to change. And I'm like, if they ask me about it, I just tell them what I'm doing. Would you like to join? So I said that's exactly what I would say. And then I just start doing live, start doing videos, like posting, yeah, just really get into my business because it's legit and I want my business to grow. So that's what
Yeah,
I did.
yeah, you said it. It's legit, right? And we have nothing to be ashamed of. What we're doing is legal, right? So it's honest work. It's hard work too. We
Mhm.
work
It
hard. We
is,
show up.
yeah,
We show
yeah.
up every day for our business. So why not? And at the end of the day, when you get that phone bill, that light bill, that rent bill, that car note, and whatever, the people who you're thinking about what they're gonna say or what they're gonna think, they're not gonna pay those bills. You have to pay your bills. So you keep showing up for yourself no matter what. All right. So yeah. So the next point we have. Let me put it up here. Different doesn't mean wrong. It means evolving. Because of course we're doing something that is different, something that might still be unheard of by some people, but we all know we are in the online space and we can see how is changing lives globally. So let's talk a bit about that. And Selma, hop in.
Sure. So I mean, what is the? Yeah, it's online space, and it's
I think she's frozen.
Oh,
Suzette
I think
and
both of them are, yeah.
yeah.
Um, but yes, it's a sense that you just spoke about as well, Vanessa. I mean, you mentioned the fear of the unknown. For you, I mean, one thing that really held you back was saying, I am so shy. I don't have that presence, right? I don't feel like I have the presence, right? I don't feel like I want to do anything else in regards to that as person, of course, get to know you as well. But as usual, I mean, like you said, persons are going you're shopping and you're trying a new site that you're like, wow, you can get these clothes here, you can get this thing here, and you're gonna go even though there's this new store that opened up in Toronto that is like an online like an in-person version of these sites that sell really affordable things that people do, and everyone's crazy and it's different, but everyone still went there not knowing what they're gonna see, not having an idea if will it satisfy exactly what I'm looking for, right? And you still do it, and you still give yourself that chance. So it's like coming out of your comfort zone is not it does require that. Let's just be honest, it is going to require that, because even if you're starting a new role, you're doing a new and you know your supervisor's like, hey, go ahead, train that next person, or they just start you like, oh, we'll get to your training, which I mean, if you have never been in a role that no one just left you dangling, I'm so happy for you. But sometimes they just leave you there and you're like, okay, all right, well, what do I do? Right, like that me, what do I do? And it's different, it is different and scary. I mean, when you upgrade your skills, and that's another thing, we go and we try to upgrade our skills, whether it be certifications, and then some of course can speak to that, or just because of your career or industry, or sometimes you just upgrade, right? As you mentioned, doctorates in our community, those are all different things. You're hoping for different when you go with that, and sometimes it's still not enough. So yes, it does mean evolving. It means that if you have something that does not compromise your goals or your values, and it is going to be different for you, it doesn't mean that change cannot be positive. It doesn't mean that it's not for you as well. 100%, yes.
It looks like
Yeah.
we lost Aunt Selma. I'm not seeing her on screen.
Yeah, she was frozen, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I guess she left, yeah. So yeah, I don't think I would add. I don't have anything to add.
Well, we have to go with the times. That's what I'm gonna say. And this is the digital age. So I mean, we're doing so much online, right? The online dating, the online shopping, right? Not an online business, right?
I know.
Why not, right?
I like that.
So
Yeah.
you know, it's about time. I think there was something where the founder of LinkedIn had said sometime last year, and basically he was stating that, I think it was by what year, 2036, these office jobs are not going to exist. It's all going to be digital and online. So,
Hmm.
everybody has an opportunity to jump in now and just get ahead of the curve, right? So that's what we need to do. Let me add on Selma back here. So, guys, we've had an amazing discussion. I think this has been our longest session ever,
Yeah.
but it's been really great having you guys here. And, I really hope that someone out there who's watching realizes that you don't have to stay stuck in the old work model, right? You don't have to stay stuck in what you were told work should look like. You can step out of that, step out of your comfort zone and try something different, something new that can definitely life changing. It has definitely changed my life and so many others in our community. And I know you ladies here as well with me can testify to all the changes that you've been going through since then. since you started this business, and it's not just professional, it's personal as well, and it's not all about the money either, right? Just having more belief in yourself, it gives you so much more confidence as well, and you can actually proudly move forward, especially for those of us who have kids. Having our kids look at us and see like what we're doing, right? We're inspiring them as well to go out there and build something on their own as well. We're showing that we're showing them that there's a different way that they can do things, which is amazing.
Mhm. Yes, and you don't always have to have it figured out. Like, there's someone who always says, start before you're ready. Because if you wait for the perfect time, it's not going to come because there's no such thing as the perfect time. And of course, you can build as you go, you can grow, you can learn, because that's what I've been doing. I've been learning so much. I've been reading, I've been even joining other communities just to learn, even from them. So don't wait for that perfect moment because it's not going to come. You're back, Susan.
So progress over perfection, right?
Exactly, exactly. You
Yes.
just have to have a why, and once your why that is strong enough, it's gonna
Mhm.
give you that momentum, that push that you need to start.
Absolutely. So anything else you want to add before we close, Anna and Salma?
No, we said it all. Exactly. There's no such thing as perfection. So just do it and do it now.
Yeah.
Tomorrow,
Awesome. So
you'll
if
be
you're looking
talking.
at us, and this conversation spoke to you today, don't let it just be another inspiring talk. You need to take the next step, right, Vanessa?
Yes, you can register through any of the websites that's showing right now here on the screen. Join us for our live webinar every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's just a simple way just to see what's possible. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right.
Okay, so
So, guys, as usual, let's end with our quote.
a quote.
The future of work doesn't belong to the brave few. It belongs to anyone willing to see new opportunities and to take the first step. So, as usual, thank you guys for being here. Remember to drop us a note, let us know where you tuned in from, and we're going to see you guys again next week for another episode of Beyond Borders.
Thank
And you want to
you.
tune in because you never know where I'm going to be coming live from next week, right? All right, guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.